So how are you today? Well, besides the depression, anxiety, codependency, and daddy issues, oh, the other day I went on a date with this guy. Oh, and how was that? He was a piece of shit. Yeah, but I still ended up liking him. Really? You know, that might be because I don't actually like him. I'm just subconsciously attracted to toxicity. Yes, and that's because of the way I grew up. My parents had an unhappy marriage and never showed me affection, which meant they fucked me up. Now as an adult, I recreate that same toxic environment in my dating life to reaffirm the belief that I don't deserve to be happy. Okay, see you next week.
Have you noticed that everyone is either in therapy, recovering from therapy, or thinking about going back to therapy? It feels like we're the most self-aware generation ever, but also the most burnt out, indecisive, and sometimes even too afraid to take bold steps and to make decisions. Many of us are actually emotionally intelligent. Sometimes we are so emotionally intelligent that it actually turns to paralysis and decision fatigue. A lot of us were trained to obey instructions, go out, don't talk to strangers, don't do this, don't do that. We began to see transitioning, especially when it comes to parenting, where people are a bit more emotional with their kids.
I don't want vegetables! I just want chicken fingers! God!
All right, I'm on it. I'm on it. Do you want any sauce with it? I'm on it. Like I'm making them now.
People tend to cuddle emotions a bit more. People are a bit more empathetic. People want to understand your reasoning behind things. While I think that there is an upside to that, I also think that it also comes with its own set of issues. I don't necessarily think that this only applies to Gen Zs. I think that it applies to millennials as well. A lot of people are no longer as resilient. A lot of people are not able to make bold decisions and actually go out there and do what they intend to do. And that's because emotions are easily cuddled. People no longer develop thick skin to things. People get called out on the internet and it's like a whole therapy session. Nobody's keen to have thick skin to any situation anymore because we've just gotten into this roller coaster of getting so wrapped up in our emotions and in how we feel, as opposed to actually doing something and actually moving on from it. And this is not to minimize those emotions, right? Those emotions are actually valid. A lot of us have probably dealt with things in the past that warrant having those emotions. But I think there is also the part where we get so wrapped up that we don't actually move on from it. Let's talk about the therapy era. I am definitely pro-therapy. I think that millennials have made it mainstream, but people want to talk about their trauma more often than before. In the past, we had situations where people were more standoffish and would like to keep those things to themselves. You will not necessarily see people open up about an event that happened like 10, 15 years ago in their family that affected them psychologically or emotionally. But now people are like, this is something I'm talking about with my therapist. And the point is, I think people are much more comfortable talking about their trauma. But the extreme of having this era is that we are also in a situation where people have turned every single emotional issue, a slight discomfort that you feel emotionally, into a full-blown session with a therapist. Like, you didn't like the way your boss addressed something that you're doing at work, and you have a conversation with your therapist that is basically bringing back trauma that you had in your childhood that kind of ties to why you were responding the way you were responding when your boss spoke to you. It could just be that you're cranky and you need a nap.
You don't need a therapist. You need to stop acting like life is a medical condition. Bad days aren't trauma, and feeling lost isn't a disorder. And not getting your way, that's not oppression, that's Tuesday. People have started diagnosing normal struggles like they're psychological crisis, when in reality life comes with stress, setbacks, and uncertainty. That's not dysfunction, that's just being alive. Therapy has its place, but so does resilience. At some point, you have to stop overanalyzing every inconvenience and start handling things like a functional adult. Because resilience isn't outdated. It's just rebranded as toxic positivity.
We have trivialized therapy to the point where it is being used for situations that just need us to be able to regulate ourselves. And I think this points to the fact that a lot of us have also become very self-absorbed. We are so self-focused that any small discomfort, any small emotional issue is a full-blown problem. You literally can't do anything again. Your hands are tied, you are cranky, your entire nervous system is dysregulated. exhausted and you need to do something about it quick. And when you find out that a lot of people are in this healing era for too long, like you're having this conversation where you want to deal with a terrible situation that you've gone through and you are healing for years. Look, I understand the dynamic where sometimes there are some issues that actually need a lot of time for you to move on from, but I also think that some people are so wrapped up and so caught up in an issue or a problem that is hard that they think that they are healing, that they are in their healing era, but they're actually just stuck in that phase and they are not necessarily either bold enough or strong enough to come out of it. Another reason why I really think that Gen Z and some millennials are stuck is because of the paralysis of endless options. There is the decision fatigue because we have so many options. When many of us millennials were younger, you only had a few options of things you could be when you grew up. You could either be like a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, but now you have so many things. Like you could be a remote UX designer, you could be a digital nomad in Bali, you could be an AI prompt engineer, you could be a YouTuber, you could be a streamer. Like there are so many things that you can do right now that are also very lucrative. A lot of us also don't want to be put in a box, want to be able to express different talents and gifts that you have. And it feels like when you pick one, you're actually closing the door to every other potential gift or potential thing that you could be doing. On top of that, social media keeps reminding us that, someone your age already made it because they are doing probably something similar to what you're doing. And you could also get stuck in this cycle where you are kind of comparing yourself to the things that you can see online. And so this analysis paralysis, refreshing, seeing people's lives, reading a lot of self-help books, and somehow never really doing the thing that you want to do makes a lot of people caught up in this cycle and actually get stuck. There's also the part of thinking, what if you choose wrong? What if you fail at something? You don't want people to see you fail. I don't really see this as being lazy. I think it's more along the lines of being so caught up with so much information and so much analysis that you actually don't have the strength or the ability to make a decision that would actually get you to where you need to be. I think this leads me to the next point, which is that a lot of people are actually emotionally exhausted. We have a lot of knowledge about mental health, about boundaries, about communication, and a lot of people are still exhausted even with all of this knowledge.
Therapy buzzwords, they're ruining our lives in America. Here are 10 words I want you to remove from your vocabulary ASAP. Hi, my name is Nikki, not Nike. I study all things neuroscience. Let's do it. And trust me, this is very hard for me too because I'm coming from a psychology background, but I realize these words are ruining my brain and they're ruining my life. Number one, stop calling everything and everyone toxic. Now your brain thinks the whole world is poison and it's terrified of everything. Number two, triggered. You're not triggered. You're uncomfortable. Learn the difference. Number three, boundaries. Those are not boundaries. You're cold. You're lonely. Those are not boundaries. You built walls. Gaslighting. This word has been used and abused. Not every single person who disagrees with you is an abuser. Grow the heck up. Self-care. Now this one, every now and again, I understand, but overall, you're just procrastinating. You're lazy. Get out of bed. Get out of your couch and go do something. Oh my God. Do you know how impossible it is to meet a real narcissist? It's literally almost impossible. I can guarantee you that most likely you've never met a real narcissist. If you actually meet a narcissist, you will not be here to tell the story. You understand? It is quite literally the most impossible personality disorder to encounter. Not everyone you meet is a narcissist. You just attract jerks. Maybe you are the jerk, but calling everyone a narcissist is insane because there's very little narcissists on earth. Very little. Inner child, my inner child, inner child, my inner child. Shut up. Grow up. She doesn't need any more cuddling. She doesn't need any more hugs. She needs you to grow up and be responsible for once in your life. Holding space. I'm holding space. Can I hold space? That is the most liberal. We don't need you to hold any more space. The space has been held. Okay? Thank you so much. And last but not least, I'm on my healing journey. I'm on my healing journey. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because when you keep telling yourself that you're on a healing journey, guess what? Your brain will be like, oh, we're never going to arrive. And you will never arrive. You will never arrive. Enough with the journey. Get to your destination already. okay?
When there is a lot of awareness and there's actually no action, it can turn to anxiety because you're dealing with all this information and you don't exactly know what to do with it. You can know your triggers, you can know what your love languages are, you can know your attachment style, but if you never really do anything differently or you're just labeling the things that you feel that you are, it doesn't help. Of course, there is benefits to being self-aware and knowing the things that probably trigger you or spaces that you shouldn't find yourself, but just having that information alone doesn't really help if it is not being put to use. The bottom line is, as Gen Zs and some millennials, I don't necessarily think that this is a situation of being broken or being a doomed generation. I feel like every generation likes to feel like the generation after it is doomed or have a problem and stuff like that. Like, we like to feel self-righteous in a sense. Former generation judged the millennials. Millennials, all the time we judge the Gen Zs. We talk about the Gen Zs there. I'm pretty sure Gen Zs are going to at some point start judging the Gen Alphas. And I think the circle just goes on and on because every generation likes to feel like we are a bit closer to perfect than the next generation.
Bro, I hate when people be talking about, oh, this generation don't do this generation don't do that. And I'll be thinking like, bro, do y'all not study history? Did y'all not take a history course in school? Because what generation do y'all want to go back to? Do y'all want to go back to the generation of the Holocaust? Do y'all want to go back to the generation of slavery? Do y'all want to go back to crack in the 80s? Do you want to go back to when it was cool for grown men to marry and impregnate 15-year-old, 16-year-old girls? Like, what generation do y'all be talking about that is so much better than ours? Like, I'm so confused.
There's so many factors that determine how a generation and people within a particular generation express themselves. So I don't think that it's fair to be like, oh, one is better than the other. In some cases, there are advantages that a generation will have over others, but it doesn't necessarily mean by reason of being born in this generation, they are all doomed to this future. We have to also realize that there wouldn't be a perfect situation. Regardless of the generation you're born in, you wouldn't necessarily have a perfect scenario. Like, there will be things that are not necessarily ideal. Your mom left at a young age, your mom passed at a young age, your dad left the home at a young age, you dealt with bullies at a young age. Like, there's so many things that would happen that are not the ideal, but there has to be that mindset that even if you went through these situations, your growth would only happen when you see it for what it is and actually take steps towards coming out of it, as opposed to always attaching every single experience that you have in life to some trauma that you've gone through in the past. That is what I think about getting unstuck, especially within this generation. And I want to know what your thoughts are about this. This was a super unscripted video, by the way, so even though I had like a structure that I wanted to follow for this video, I've had to think of some things on the spot and try to articulate them. I really hope like the overarching idea or the overall idea of this video is able to come through. Let me know what you guys think of the reason why Gen Zs and millennials are stuck, especially right now. Do well to like and subscribe if you like this video. Comment as well. I am super excited to know what you think about this era of therapy, self-awareness, of getting stuck, parenting as well, how it plays into this. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next one. Bye.